What's going on YouTube? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers White Tigerzord. This was purchased from my good friend Tom over at TokuNation.com, otherwise known as Soul Inc. Chew on Twitter. This is the, as I said, original White Tigerzord. It is much bigger than the Legacy version that was recently released, which I'll do a comparison of the two here in a second. You just saw the one main issue I have with the figure in Tiger mode, and that is the joints over the years have not fared all that well. As you can see, the joints here in the shoulders and the joints that are holding the claws down are a little bit on the loose side. Otherwise, though, the figure is in very good condition for being nearly 20 years old. Yeah, it's been that long since this guy came out. Even though I do have him transformed correctly, pieces have a tendency to move around. And overall, it's a good figure, though a little bit loose. Tail here is the sword. We'll just go ahead and remove that for right now. If you're unfamiliar with the White Tigerzord, this guy was originally released in 1994. Yeah, some of you might actually have not been born yet. I was 14, or would be 14 at the time. This figure does have lights and sounds, which we will go into now. The lights and sounds gimmick is activated by a pair of switches that are on the top of the lion's head, right behind where, or I should say right in front of where, the robot head will deploy to. See those black buttons? That's it. Just a very quick comparison between the two White Tigerzords. You could see that the original one is on the left, and the new Legacy one, or Legendary one, is on the right. The big difference, other than the size, is the paint used. The original has a much, I'd say, duller paint scheme, and the red that you see painted here on the new one is actually red bulbs or red pieces of plastic that are on the old one. Now I've got the old one posed a little bit incorrectly, so we'll just go ahead and get him set up a little better. You can see though when they are set in their correct positions, they are exactly the same height. Even though I've got a lot of love for the original one, I think the paint on the new one is much better and will hold up longer. The transformation for the White Tigerzord is exactly how it is in the original show. To start off with, we'll come down to the legs, grab the rear haunches of the Tiger mode and pull them out and fold them down, or swivel them down, I should say. Fold up the tiger feet and then flip them around and slide them forward. So we have just formed the feet of the White Tigerzord. Then for the torso, we're going to take the entire upper tiger bit and fold it down like we're transforming a Cheetor figure. Flip the claws up, turn the wrists, or I should say the area right above the elbows so that the fists are pointing forward, and then flip up the head. And when you do that, it's supposed to snap into place, but it kind of doesn't. Like all Super Sentai figures, the White Tigerzord is pretty much a brick, but he is a very stylish brick that I like quite a bit. I just can't get over or ever get past how good this guy looks. He's always been one of my favorites from the Thunder era. He's a very good looking figure, and he is a lot of fun. He is a little bit taller than the new version, which we'll do a comparison here in a minute. The only complaint I've ever really had is that he doesn't hold his sword very well. It just kind of rests in his hand, and the sword is kind of silly looking, to be honest. Lights and sounds work in this mode as well, and they are exactly the same. I guess I can open up the mouth then. Yeah, so there's nothing different here in the lights and sounds gimmicks. Head sculpt is quite good as well and looks very reminiscent of the show. I think it actually looks better on this figure than it does on the newer figure, but that's just me. And here are the two White Tigerzord robot modes standing next to each other. As you can see, they're roughly the same height, but this guy, the new one, has much better humanoid proportions than the original one, and he can hold his weapon much better. So there are pros and cons to both of them. I like both of them in all honesty. I just wish that the new one had some, well, feet that transformed like the old one, because in order to transform these feet, you kind of have to fiddle with it, and then to do a combined mode with the other parts, you have to take the toes off, which is weird. But otherwise, I think they're both really good, but you could definitely see a difference in aesthetic style between early 90s and mid-2010s. Now, the White Tigerzord Warrior mode can combine with the Lion, Griffin, Unicorn, and Phoenix Thunderzords. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. To start off with, we're going to just remove the sword and put it off to the side. Take the shoulders and pull them out. Then take the legs, reach down to the feet, push the feet back, and then flip them down. And then flip the upper legs up. And before we do that, we kind of have to disconnect him from the middle like that. So, pick that up, flip that down as far as it'll go, and then bring on the feet. First up is Unicorn, and that will slide down and into place. And it's important that the upper thigh guard slides up into the bottom of the Tigerzord's foot. So there we go, there are the legs. Next up, torso. First, we'll take the shoulder pads and flip them down, and the legs or front paws of the Lion Zord with the fists folded up into them will connect to the top connector bits like this. And then the entire rest of the lion will connect to the back of this mode. So make sure that the connectors are folded out and they will snap on to these bits right there, which is actually a little bit difficult when the head doesn't want to stay up. So gotta get that. Things do not line up nicely. Once all the swearing is done and you've got everything lined up nicely, this is how it's supposed to look. Next, we reattach the tail to the Phoenix and give the Phoenix some feet, because without the feet, this isn't gonna work. So take the hand and the bottom of the feet, you will see have this channel built into them. They will actually connect, these bits that are sticking out will connect into the fist, which isn't exactly super easy, but it does work. And then you fold the Phoenix wings around its own feet. And lastly, flip up the head. And here we have the Mega Thunderzord. And I'm sorry, that's the Mega Tigerzord, not the Mega Thunderzord. So here we have him, all big and all glory filled. He's very, very cool. Just very, very cool. You could do this with the new Legacy versions of the figures. So I haven't had a chance to review those yet, but I'll get to it. Size comparison wise, here is the Legacy or Legendary Tigerzord. You can see the amount of height that the figure gains in this mode. It's very, very cool, a lot of fun, and gimmicks work here as well, or lights and sounds gimmicks. Now his attack consists of shooting the Phoenix off of his wrist, but it doesn't really work in the toy. And there is a little bit of stuff misaligned here due to the back. That just kind of happens with the toy of this age. It's held up very well, but it picks up dust like you would not believe. All of these figures do, especially the stickers. I don't know what it is, but they just suck dust to them. It's almost like they're static, made of static cling or something. Overall, the Tigerzord is really cool, but you really need all of the Thunderzords together in order to get the most amount of fun. I really like this set. You might not, especially if you're one of my younger viewers who have never even seen this thing. I would go back and see if you can watch some of the episodes of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2. It's worth watching simply because every time these guys show up, cool stuff happens. So gang, I hope you've enjoyed this video review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers White Tigerzord, the original one. As always, I am Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.